All good things must come to an end, and so does the 23-24 Timberwolves season, and also likely the end of this series, at least how it is constructed right now. And I'd like this video to focus on why you should be uplifted, encouraged, and excited about how this amazing Timberwolves season went best one in 20 years. But we also do have to acknowledge the final miserable game that was played in a terrible Western Conference Finals that the Timberwolves end up losing 4-1 against the Dallas Mavericks, who move on. They were the better team. They played better. Hats off to them. Crazy hair. And back on, let's talk about the Wolves. It felt bad in that series. I don't feel like we ever played our version of our good basketball. Didn't ever lock in defensively. I mean, Game 4 was a little bit better, but a lot of that was Kyrie and Luka missing shots, which they did not do. In the Game 5, we lose by 21. We were down by as many as 36 points in that game at home, and both Luka and Kyrie dropped 36. We lose 5 of our last 6 games at home in the playoffs. That one stings. Really disappointing for the fans that are just so excited for those moments. And if you're spending money on those insanely expensive tickets, boy, does that suck. So that was really discouraging to see, and it's something that we've got to grow on. But I think this should be something that fires up this team and allows us to grow, have a bit of a vengeance inspiring us for next season. But looking at this series, we just never really played our ball, couldn't figure things out defensively, which was our identity, and let some games go that we needed and that we were playing better than the Mavericks and were winnable early on in that series. You can't drop those first 2 at home because you will have games like this when Kyrie and Luka make everything and you just can't do anything to stop them. And with their level of shot making, we just couldn't keep up. It didn't matter the defense. In addition to having a lot of missed opportunities from the Wolves side, we were very sloppy, missed a lot of layups early, and there were so many moments where we're starting a little bit of a run. You can feel the momentum ready to get building, and then we miss an open 3. The ball swings a couple times, miss. Goes the other way, Mavericks score. They hit a tough shot or a transition make. And we had so many moments like that in Game 5 that we didn't capitalize on, allows that lead to balloon up, and we just sit in misery throughout almost all that game. It was 18-18. Mavs go on, what was it, a 16-1 run or 17-1 run? Never looked back after that. Luka going crazy, hitting all the shots. And then through that series, we had people that were great in the playoffs, great through the season, that just couldn't really get it going. Rudy Gobert, a very unimpressive series. Our defense struggled overall. His force on rebounding was not felt, really. Only gets 5 boards in that Game 5. Nickeil Alexander-Walker, the offense, eventually dissipated and just didn't really ever show up in the second half of those playoffs. Anthony Edwards didn't have the same level of just ultimate elevation and insane games. He played well, almost hitting a triple-double like every single game in this series, but the scoring efficiency wasn't matched. He didn't have the really high scoring output. And then Karl Anthony Towns, of course, has 3 brutal games and then scores a little bit more up and down, but also couldn't really match what the output of Kyrie and Luka is. But hey, there's not many people on the planet that can. 2 of the best scorers that there are. So, Western Conference Finals, ultimate bummer. Hopefully it's going to be used as motivation for this team that did some incredible things throughout the year. Just look at the accolades. I mean, we have the Defensive Player of the Year in Rudy Gobert. Season ago, no one was optimistic about his presence on this basketball team, me included. I was cursing our general manager, Tim Conley, cursed by Conley. I made that graphic, and it felt justified for a full season. And then he actually did turn the organization around, and we're playing good ball in this year. Rudy Gobert got in better shape. Seemed like he was playing some of the best basketball of his life. Did not see that coming. That's an enormous win for this team. Anthony Edwards had the progression we expected, becoming one of the greatest players in this league. So exhilarating. You get all the highlight moments, and you get the production, and you see how he spreads the love across his teammates. Swaggy apparel. I want the AE1s so bad, but they're tough to get. And he's getting appreciated nationwide and worldwide at this point. Love it. You see very huge jumps unexpectedly in three-point shooting from especially Naz Reid, who hits 6th Man of the Year. I mean, you kind of thought it was possible, but seeing it actually happen for the Timberwolves, what a shock. And the same thing can be said about winning a playoff series. I mean, we've been thinking it's possible for a while, but actually seeing it happen, you just don't know how to react and how to manage yourself. And so that was so special. Naz also picking it up on the defensive end. His finishing has always been unreal, but you just see it continue to be shown and expressed. His versatility amazing. The three-point threat, although he was 0 for 4 in Game 5, and that wasn't the display there. Just so impressive out of Naz. What a season. Jaden is one player that I wish would have made bigger steps, but we saw him step up in the playoffs yet again. And I feel like he can continue to do that in big moments. There's still steps to be taken from him, but that was still amazing to see under pressure, him doing good things. But the maturity still has to come along. Karl Anthony Towns, we know how good he can be. Maturity still has to come along. There's a lot of room for improvement for this team. And in the main guy, Anthony Edwards, you think that he can just kind of improve forever, and he's already so good. So that's the main reason for ultimate optimism. Also, all the people I have mentioned thus far having good seasons, they're going to be with this team, or at least they're under contract. I feel like Cat, who knows if he's going to stick around. I kind of would be open to the idea of him getting shipped out, seeing if we can find other pieces to help this team. I'm a bit ready to be done with Cat. However, I think just him not being your number one option is just the most important thing. Mike Conley, we got him for a couple more years. He also should have been lumped in when I was talking about the three-point shooting elevation. He shoots a career high this year. I believe it was 44% for the season. It was around that range. Insane. And what a great leader. What a great guy. He wins Teammate of the Year in the NBA as well. We've got so many of these accolades piled up. I think Cat won social justice award in the NBA as well. I don't really know about that one. Look at me. And then we've got Nickeil Alexander-Walker also in that group of elevating their game significantly, especially the three-point shooting again. The playoffs makes that look a little bit less true, but throughout the season, man, he really was more consistent for us, so I don't want to shade him too much for that, just because of recent history here. What this team did was special. We did not lose 3 games in a row until the playoffs. We bounced back from so much adversity this year. It was hard to give up on us. It felt like we did that every single game, which you don't love, that it felt like we were always digging ourselves a hole and then having to climb out of it. But we were climbing out of it a lot. And it makes you optimistic that if we stop digging, that we might reach the mountaintop. And that's what you really have to feel amazing and optimistic about. Chris Finch has just kind of grown and improved as he's went. As a head coach with the Timberwolves, I think he number 1 in wins or number 2 in wins overall. He's number 1 in winning percentage, at least. I think that's probably the number I'm thinking of, and 2nd in wins overall. But he has coached a number 1 offense with us a couple of seasons back. Now a number 1 overall defense in the NBA through this season. And the dude just figures things out. He wins. I still get frustrated with the stagnation we see in our offense in the playoffs. Why we're still going to perimeter cat ISOs on the wing, I could not. I can't comprehend still. It kills my soul. And it's okay. It was a good run. You just want a chance. Remember who we are. We're the Timberwolves. Doesn't have to be a championship every year. Get yourself a chance to win it. Give us one before we die. That's all we hope for. That's it for me. Maybe for the last time. Peace out.